Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived an evil queen. And she lived in a castle high up on the hill. And in this castle was a magic mirror. Every day she would peer into the mirror and say, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the best speaker of them all?" "My queen, you are the best speaker in the land. The talk you gave this morning had grand gestures, vibrant vocal variety. It was one of your best talks. I look forward to your next speech." And the queen was satisfied. On the other side of the kingdom lived Snow White. Now Snow White was beautiful, like you. And she was intelligent, like you. And she had gorgeous hair, like me. But she had one flaw, and she was terrified of public speaking. But that's okay, because the land was enchanted, and there wasn't a reason for her to speak in public. But then one day, down in the valley, boom! The wellhead blew. The magic black potion spilled out across the land. Now this black potion, in its refined state, was very valuable. They could feed it to dragons, and it would make the dragons fly. And that's how they got from kingdom to kingdom without walking. But in its unrefined state, it was just pollution messing up the ground. Snow White said, "Oh, why did we let that evil corporation drill in our valley? I hate British potion makers. What am I going to do? I know, I'll ask my magic mirror. Mirror, mirror in my hand, who's the one to save the land?" "Snow White, you are the only one who can save the land. You must motivate and inspire the people to clean up the mess." Snow White had no idea what to do. Just like you and I, though, she went on the internet. She went to that magical website, Google, and typed in motivation, inspiration, leadership, and up popped www.d4tm.org. Oh, look! There's a Toastmasters Club just around the corner. The Seven Dwarfs Toastmasters Club. I hope it's an open club and they take tall people. She showed up at the very next meeting. She got there early and got to watch all the dwarfs walk in. Hi-ho, to Toastmasters we go. First we speak, then get critiqued. Hi-ho, hi-ho. She loved it. She joined right away, and that very first meeting they made her the odd counter. Dopey, you had a couple of Oz, but Sneezy, you had 16. About that time, Sneezy went, "Achoo!" Make that 17. The next meeting, she was the grammarian. "Most of you speak with excellent grammar, but Doc, you invited Bashful up to the podium. I believe this is called a lectern." At the end of the meeting, Doc came up to her and said, "You're right, Snow White. This is a lectern, but we short people have to step up on the podium to see over the lectern." She went through speech 1, 2, 3. She got through speech 9, and she was ready for that final speech, speaking to inspire. She knew this was the most important speech of all. She worked hard at it, she practiced it, and finally, when she gave it at the Toastmasters Club, Doc was her evaluator. "Snow White, that was the best speech I have ever heard. It is time for you to take that outside Toastmasters. It's time for you to inspire the population." About that time, in our castle, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the best speaker of them all? "My queen, Snow White, is the best speaker in the land." Ah! The day arrived, and Snow White was about to give her very first speech outside of Toastmasters. The audience had gathered, the dwarfs were all there for support, and a little old lady in a black hooded cloak walked in and offered Snow White an apple. She took it and took a bite, and instantly fell asleep. And she won't wake up until she's kissed by a distinguished Toastmaster. The dwarfs were terrified. Where are they going to find a distinguished Toastmaster? They looked all around the valley. They searched the kingdom high and low. They even called the CEO of BP and asked if they could borrow his corporate dragons. But no, they couldn't. Doc decided the only thing to do was to earn his DTM. So he took on some extra leadership roles. He brushed off those advanced manuals. Some of the advanced manuals were very easy for him. So for example, the storytelling manual, after all, he lives in a fairy tale. Other manuals were really difficult. The new manual, Speaking Tall, was a real stretch for him. But eventually he got there. He got his DTM, and on that day they filed his paperwork, he climbed up on Snow White's bed and kissed her. And she woke up. Hooray! Hooray! And Snow White and Doc then went out across the land preaching why people should help clean up. Everybody pitched in. The land, once again, was enchanted. Now, fellow Toastmasters, you might think the moral of the story is that if you get whitewash evaluations, you'll never get better. Or you might think the moral of the story is, if you want to change the world, join Toastmasters. I think the moral of the story is, if you become a DTM, you get to kiss the pretty girls.